Today's video is a 2-for-1 special, a tutorial on a vertical manifold design for assemblers, and the next step in my big 90 per minute electromagnetic control rods biodome factory. Today we're going to build 135 stators per minute with a twin towers design. So this works out naturally since we have 2 Mark V belts worth of wire coming in. We have 1 for each tower. We need 28 assemblers worth, so we're going to do 2 7-story towers with 2 assemblers on each floor. We're breaking out the time-tested vertical manifold design, this time extra spicy since we're using 2 input machines. So as you can see here, we have one of our twin towers already constructed here, and this is the site of our second tower. So all we need for this design is a 4x5 platform. Pretty compact for 14 assemblers. But here on each floor, this is like a modular design with a small module. We'll have 2 assemblers on each floor and then the belt work needed to get things moving. You do need to get this lined up properly here to get it all working in the way that we want. So what you want to do here is take out your assembler. We have 4 bases across. You want to line up the assembler with that back foundation when you make your 4x5 platform, and then line up your left input with that line on the foundation there. You can see right there. So what I'm talking about is this line right here. You line that up with that line, and then you do the same on that side. Line it up straight, and then right there with that input right on that line. So there's our assembler placement. So we'll have our inputs coming in from this direction here. We have our pipes coming in right here from that factory over there. And then we have our wire coming from this factory here, comes out of that floor right there. We may take it up here and around, or we may take it through that building. I haven't decided yet, but we'll know that we'll need both of these inputs on this side. So we get our splitter out, and it's important to line this up properly so we get a nice 90-degree bend, of course. So right here, right on that line, then you put your belts in like that, and you get a nice 90-degree bend. The placement of our second splitter is key so we can fit 2 lifts between these splitters. So we need it to line up here with the edge of that foundation right there, like so. And then we'll bring these belts over here, like so, when they line up, back to. So this is the general gist of our design. So each module will have 2 assemblers, 2 splitters, 4 belts like this. And now we need to work on stacking these on top of each other and transitioning the products from one floor to another. So for assemblers, I like to have walls that are 4 walls high. So we're going to use these same windows as we did on the other tower. 4 walls, like so. And then when you're using windows, I like to add in a 1-meter wall right here. So we'll attach our foundations to this 1-meter wall. If you don't put this in there, you end up attaching it to the top of this window and then it shows through. Kind of like this right here, which is okay, but I'd rather not do that. You can see on this side, we don't have that. We have this extra wide stripe here with the 1-meter wall. I kind of like how that breaks up the design anyways. We're gonna use glass frame foundations here. This lets the light kind of pour into the building like the rest of the design of our biodome. We'll get our next round of assemblers down and put it in the same alignment so that back edge lines up with that foundation, and then the left input, the inside of it, is lined up with the edge of the foundation. So right here like this. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. And you'll get used to putting it down in this orientation as we go up by the floors. And so in previous videos, I've made a splitter stack to bring things up to the right height to have them in a situation like this, but I'm going to do the easier way of putting down some foundations temporarily to help us put in our splitters. So on the first floor, we had the input coming in on this side. So on each floor, we need to alternate which side the input comes in. So we're going to get our splitter out, and we're going to have the input face the middle like this. And we want to have, if you see those white lines, you want to be right inside the edge of them like that. And then you can get your nice 90-degree bend. And so same here, as we want to put down the second splitter, which is right on this edge, but we want the input to come in on the inside like this. And then so we'll get these belts in too. You bring them 1 short of the edge, then you get a nice right angle, 1 short of the edge, nice right angle. And then we can take these out like that, and then you have the same design on this floor. So we have this output of this splitter down here. We'll get a lift out, bring it in there, So that will bring everything up from the bottom floor to this floor. And then we'll do the same thing over here, except there's this pesky foundation in the way. So we'll break out our conveyor lift holes, and you can put it right here, but I like to leave a little bit of a space right there. So we'll put that in, and we'll hook this up down below, like so. And so the inputs will come in here, split off to each machine, and then the overflow will go up the lifts to this floor and then split off into each machine. That's 2 floors down. Now we need to add in 5 more to get to our 14 assemblers in this building. So again, we'll do our 4 walls and our 1 meter wall on top for our foundation attachment. So let's build this floor as well. Again, we'll put down our assemblers in the proper alignment, as we have tons of practice doing at this point. Right there with the inside of that input aligned with that, and then the back aligned with the foundation itself. Get the line right there. And we'll do the same thing and put our temporary foundations here for our splitter placement. We had the splitter input face to the inside last time. Remember, we need to alternate. So right there is the spot. We'll do the same thing here as well, right on this edge, and we want the input coming on that side. Whoa! So there is a good demonstration of concentrating on your design and not moving up your temporary power poles so your hover pack stops working. Good reminder of the constant risk of death in Satisfactory. Okay, now that I scared myself falling out of the sky, back to this. We'll get our belts down here. Remember, 1 from the edge. Easy peasy, like so. So we'll take out our temporaries here, and then get the lifts going on this side. So like this, and then on this side, barely fits inside the building, but it does fit nonetheless. So we'll keep doing this all the way up. We have 4 more floors to go, and we just need to keep doing this design and alternate back and forth. So I will knock that out, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. All right, 7 floors knocked out, at least the inputs knocked out. You can actually build this pretty quickly. This is a pretty easy design. So I'm gonna go around the back and get all the mergers hooked up in a pretty similar way. It's a little bit simpler though, having only 1 output. We'll use the same temporary foundation technique on this side. We only need 2 of them over here though. So let's get our mergers out, and we'll place them in the exact same place as we did on the other side, which is barely in those white lines, the outlines of our assemblers. Hook them up in the same way. So this first floor is easy, because it's the top. Then we're going to go down from here. So let's put another line, temporary foundations, on the floor below, and this is slightly more complicated. So what we're going to do here is we want to have this version of the merger face that way on every floor rather than alternating. We get this merger in the right place here like this. Up these belts for effect. You'll know that the outputs are both facing out on it. That's not really going to work. You can't take a lift and put it into an output. So what we're going to do to keep the merger line straight down the center is put another layer of mergers, and we're going to put a merger that's actually 2 above, like so. And we'll delete this middle one, little useful splitter stack here. And why we're doing that is because this is the height that allows you to use a lift going down like that. Right next to each other, you can't do it. So we'll put it like that, and then we'll have this lift going down like so. So the merger, they'll merge together, go down into this merger on this side, feed into this, and then bring everything in from each floor. So we'll be making this little stack and lift combo on each floor for the outputs. That helps keep it nice and clean rather than trying to alternate sides and that type of thing. I think I prefer this design. There's our 135 stators per minute output sorted. We have everything coming in with these nice 90-degree bends on each floor, and then the lifts coming down that are nice in a row. That looks pretty clean from all angles. I like it. I know some of you guys don't like this floating design where there's no supports underneath like this. I like to think that the lifts and belts have the structural rigidity to handle this type of thing. That's just what I tell myself in my mind. Also, this is a video game and not real life, and I like the way that this looks, and it makes it a little bit simpler when you have them unsupported in this manner. So that's the bulk of our actual functional design, other than the power. But I'll also show you how I decorated this building. We're going to match this other tower like so. We'll make a roof using some of the new buildable walls and roof corner. So we're going to start with making windowed walls and these 1 meter walls all the way around. I know this kind of makes a boxy look, but especially for something big like this, I like to keep it fairly simple and something that won't take absolutely forever to build. So we're going to run up power lines right up here on the inside, nothing too fancy. Keep them on the same level on each floor, which is the first place right above the 1 meter wall. So that's how I'm remembering it so quickly. 1 meter wall there, and then just hook it up to each machine on each floor. And while you're here, you can knock out your temporary power poles if you're using hard pack like I was. I've talked about this in other videos. One of the biggest quality of life improvements if you're making a really long row of machines is being able to copy and paste the machines without having to open up the menu. So you can just, I copied it off this one. You can just look at it and hit Control V, and there you go, settings pasted. So one issue that we need to tackle is this tree. I could have actually moved this over a little bit so this didn't happen, but you know, didn't really think about it, just built around it. Normally I would just tear this down, but it is one of these bigger ones, and it's hard to determine which one you're going to cut down with your chainsaw. I know you can fill up your inventory and cut them down one tree at a time, but I don't really want to take the time to do that. And since we are building a biodome, I think it would be against the spirit of my design to knock this tree down. So what we're going to do is something similar to what we did over here with this tree, which is just make an open area where the tree can go in there, since we are trying to preserve the natural environment with this design. So we've closed everything in that we could close in. So we're going to build some beams around this just to polish it off and not just leave it open, to show that we did this on purpose, I guess. So we'll put our beam right here and then go up to our opening. We'll end up putting a connector right here just to make it look clean, but for now let's make it go all the way over. I'm actually going to make this go all the way over into this one just to make it a little bit more structurally sound looking. Let's get a beam connector here on this wonky corner. Maybe we'll go in here as well. Alright, so there's our forest preserving beam setup sorted. So let's get the rest of these walls on here and get the rest of the design working. We have all of our walls up now, and let's move on to this roof design. We're just going to replicate what we have here on the other tower, hence the twin tower designation. So I have all the windows up to this height just to make sure I had them the right height, but we're gonna have to tear a few of them down to get this design. So let's get the corners torn off here, and at each corner we're going to use this new tilted concave wall. Put it on like this, and it's just like the inner roof corner pieces if you use those. And so we're going to use our ramp wall here to fill in these places. To get your tilted walls on, get out of your outer roof corner like this and have them turned in that manner. So the corner is facing that corner there, and then you can do the other one on this side and it matches up nicely. And we'll do that on each corner. And let's fill in this gap here with one of the new inner corner pieces here. That should line up nicely there, and I think that actually looks pretty cool right there. And the last bits are just two regular 4-meter ramp walls there, and then two flatties here on top. There we go. Twin towers. I might take this middle part down just so they look like two separate towers. Match up our light action from the other side. Gonna get our wall mounted floodlights out here, put them here, and then we don't want to go all the way flat because that makes weird shadows going up. There's a bug. So let's go up 2 from there, and then we'll put a matching one on this side as well. This will look a little bit messy, but nobody's gonna be up here but me. Nobody will ever notice. It's not like I'm making a YouTube video about this or something. If you haven't used a light control panel, you have the power on this side and the light coming out on this side where the little light bulb is. So I'll bring the power here into the light control panel, and then you take the power out to the lights from that side there, and then you need to connect the lights in a series. I know that wiring looks a little bit messy, but that's okay. So we'll go to our light control panel, we'll make them green, and then I normally turn on night mode so that will turn them off, but I'll turn it back on here for a second. I normally go down intensity wise to something like 60. We'll just leave it on 100 for here for now though, and so we can take a look. So here's our lights. They're going down the building pretty good amount. We have our vertical manifold all hooked up, belts, power, recipes on the machine. We have some lights up at the top. So now the only thing we have left to do is hook up our inputs and watch these machines get fired up. So let's get that done first. The first one is nice and easy. It's right here, our steel pipes. So we'll get a lift going off of this one and then get this the same height. I think I nailed it first try. I think this should line up on a right angle. Yeah, look at that. Great planning, DrLootCrate. Bang. One of the fun things about this design is watching everything come up the manifold like this and watching everything split up from above. I think it's pretty cool. That's one half. We got our pipes. Let's go get our wire. So our wire is coming out here on the second floor because we have more than one Mark V belts worth of wire. So this bottom half of this building goes into this tower, and then the top half of this building right here goes in for this tower right here. I've decided to run the belt on the outside of the building. I could have run it on the inside, but I think it would have clipped with these lifts right here on the edge. So I've run it around the outside here. I don't mind the look of that little extra design element on the outside, and then bring it down here with a lift. And then so when I plug this in here, we'll get the whole system going. So hopefully I remembered all of my belts and lifts, and look at that, even that, an automatic right angle bend from there lined up nicely. Okay, so we got our wire is flowing in, and hopefully we'll find, oh no, we're good there. And so our wire's flowing in. Looks like our machines are filling up. So our steel pipe manifold worked. Everything is full of that. And as the wire comes in, we'll start to see the stators come out this end. And I think we see our first few coming right now. We have a high volume of wire, so it fills up the manifold pretty quickly, especially with Mark V belts. See, it's flowing in pretty quickly. It does stack to 500, so it takes a little bit of time, but not too long to get the manifold overflowing a little bit more quickly. Almost forgot a couple design elements here. If you want twin towers, they actually need to be twins. So let's make sure we polish this off. Get our inverted ramp walls out here. This is the way I like to finish off our buildings rather than have those square edges all the time. I like to add these little triangles and stuff. It just adds a nice flow to the design. Kind of polishes off the rough edges of the build. The very last thing is just to add the beams. I have this theme of bright green colors in this design. So I've decided to add these beams down the outside in a slight homage to the twin towers themselves. They have these tiny slit windows and a lot of vertical design elements. So I thought I would work something like that. There we go, the final exterior view of our two twin towers pumping out 135 stators per minute. Let me know what you guys think about this design. I think that I like it. Hope you like this design as much as I do. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit subscribe. It's a great way to support the channel. Well, until next time, I'm DrLootCrate, and stay stoked out there.